Podcast Studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello. Let's see how long we can trail that on for.
That was a long one. Hey, Kat, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you? How was your long weekend? I know, again, it's a weird one. It's not like one of those crazy, everybody parties on this weekend. It was not like that, right?
No, it wasn't. And the point of Truth and Reconciliation Day is to be more of a somber day, although I just can't wrap my mind around it, Kat. Why on earth is it not a holiday for everybody? It's a federal holiday. Some of the provinces have made it a provincial holiday, but we haven't done it here in Ontario. And frankly, I can't understand why.
It's interesting. I saw somebody mentioning this on my Facebook page who is Indigenous and was like, well, I am looking around at a lot of people who have this off, but I have to work. So I have to take a vacation day.
And how is that right?
Because I want to take part in there's a lot of ceremonies that were happening around and a lot of events and things like that for it, and had to take a vacation day because of it.
But that's complete lunacy.
Right?
Indigenous people should
Twisted.
automatically get the day off.
I think so too. It was an interesting wake up call, I think, for a lot of people to realize, like, yeah, why is that?
Don't you just look around sometimes and shake your head at the
Yes.
stuff that is just beyond maddening?
Absolutely.
I did a Solo Scott podcast yesterday. Thanks to everybody who reached out about that one. I think when people are angry at me for bashing conservatives and people are angry at me for bashing liberals, I've probably done a pretty good job at finding balance there. But go back and listen to it if you want something. And if those episodes aren't your thing, don't worry about it. I won't be offended. We have a lot to get to in this episode, and we're going to start off with the news of the day. Minimum wage has gone up in Ontario. Some people in other parts of Canada and across the U.S. might be surprised to hear. Minimum wage in Ontario now, $17.20 an hour. And it's still not going to help people that are struggling.
Right. How did that compare with other provinces too? I don't even know.
We are the second highest minimum wage in Canada now.
Okay.
$17.20 an hour. Good. It used to be that people who were doing part-time jobs, minimum wage jobs, those weren't exactly your skilled workers. And it was more intended, I think, for younger people would take on some of those minimum wage jobs, the true minimum wage ones like McDonald's,
Entry
Tim's.
level.
Entry
right?
level,
I think
yeah.
of it as like that's the entry level. That's your entrance into working. We know that's not necessarily the case for a lot of people. They live off of the minimum wage, or they attempt to.
That's right. And with so many people living on minimum wage, I'm really not sure that we've solved any problems here. The point of raising the minimum wage was to obviously put more money in people's pockets, but to make the minimum wage a little more reflective of the cost of living. So there's a lot to unpack on that one. I mean, businesses didn't really have much to do with the cost of living. If you're just running mom and pop shop of some sort, I don't think you really contributed to the cost of living crisis, but you now have to pay your staff more, which then cuts into your profit, unless you can increase your business. You can't really increase your business because people still don't have any money. It's like a vicious circle here.
Sure is.
And I'm not sure where it's going to go. I'm just going to work this out here. $17.20 an hour times 40 hours a week. If you work a full-time minimum wage job, you're now making $688 a week. Bi-weekly, $1,376. Monthly, $2,752. That's not a lot of money, Kat. I don't know how people live off $2,700.
Well, when you think about the cost of
rent is $2,500.
Yeah, right. Like this is I don't know either. But some people will argue it's not a living wage, and it was never meant to be a living wage. It was always meant to be a minimum wage.
And I truly do understand that sentiment and where it comes from. What I would say to that, though, is a lot of people have had to go and take out those minimum wage jobs because that's all they can get, or we've got a lot of seniors that have come out of retirement because the cost of living is so expensive. And there's a lot of seniors taking up those jobs that rightfully should belong to students.
Yeah. But how did they survive, right? The seniors have to survive right alongside everybody else. It's a mess. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it looks like we've put another burden on the backs of business, but I don't know that it's even going to solve the problem for employees. So I don't know where we go from here, but either way, minimum wage up to $17.20 an hour now. The Living Wage Network, we've heard from them a number of times over the years. They say the minimum wage needs to be at $25 an hour to even give people a shot
Right.
at living off of minimum wage.
That's what the living wage should be. Yeah. But then you think about the other side of this. And I'm not talking about the big companies. You're McDonald's and all of the fast food chains and all of the places where there's just copious amounts of locations. I'm thinking about the small businesses, because if you are a small business, but you do keep people on staff at minimum wage, the cost of that just went up. And the cost of renting that place or leasing that place that you have is not small. So I wonder if this is going to impact them in a negative way if they are business owners.
Yeah. I have a feeling what's going to happen is what happens every time the minimum wage goes up or there's a tax increase of some sort is you're going to have some people who are now making $17.20 an hour instead of $16.55 an hour. Great, you got your raise. But they're going to cut down the amount of people on the shift. So
Maybe.
You're going to work a lot harder. The business may or may not pay any more because they'll just cut staff, as opposed to giving everybody the raise in minimum wage.
Because it doesn't sound like a lot, but really for a company, if they're paying out lots of people, it does add up, right?
Yeah. I also don't know if the service is going to get any better. There's some usual offenders that are known for screwing up a coffee order or not putting all the right things in the bag. And when people are getting paid $17.20 an hour, there's now a higher expectation that you do a better job at your job. And I don't know if that's going to translate either.
That's a business thing too, though. Some of those businesses have just kind of, I don't know if it's in the training itself or in the fact that they're trying to do too many things at once. We all know what businesses I'm talking about for the most part. It's too much. It's too much at once. And that's what happens is that things slip through the cracks when you're doing too much and maybe the training isn't there either. Because some have it down pat. Some have figured it out. Others haven't.
Yeah. Coming up in a few minutes, something that was actually very popular on the Scott and Kat radio show today. It's a list of 10 things from Dr. Phil that you should know about your partner. And we're going to give this to you in a quiz form. So get ready. That's coming up in a few here on After 9. I'm wondering, though, how other people are going to do. I got 3 out of 10. You got 9 out of 10 for your husband.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't know anything about my girlfriend. It's just that she must have told me at some point some of these things, but it just slips your mind after a while, right?
Slips your mind, or were you listening to her when she told you it?
Oh, don't do that, because that's what she says.
I'm going to side with your girlfriend on this one.
I know
okay,
you are,
I'm
and
going
I hate
to.
that.
And if she thinks you need to work on that, then I'm going to support her.
That's coming up here on After 9. Is it an awkward situation here, Kat? The Raptors did their media day yesterday, and the Raptors are getting ready to kick off the preseason this coming Sunday.
Yay!
Good. Let's bring back some basketball. Raptors team president Masai Ujiri yesterday had to try and shut down rumors that he has friction with the executive chair of Rogers Communications. Rogers is about to be the new owner of MLSE because
Right.
they're buying out Bell. Ujiri says he has a great relationship with Edward Rogers, and he has for the last 10 years. Well, that's not what the Toronto Star reported. They said Rogers had unsuccessfully fought plans to not re-sign Ujiri as vice chairman and president of basketball operations. Apparently, Ed Rogers said Masai Ujiri is not worth the money. How do you go back and form a buddy-buddy relationship with somebody who said they're not worth that much money?
That's none of us really know, because we're not of that caliber of platform / money. You know what I mean? For that to be, does that get in the way? Does that stand in the way? Is it awkward now? I mean, one would think so. But when you're up at that pedestal, right, you wonder if that's just another day, like another conversation. Especially when you're talking about someone who has that much money. And I'm talking about Rogers specifically. The amount of power that Rogers has in this country now, it's pretty insane.
Yes, it is. They control a lot. The phones, the cable, the streaming, the internet, the sports teams, the TV, everything.
It's a lot.
It certainly is. Have you been following what's been going on in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene?
Yeah, I totally got into the rabbit hole of the videos that were being posted, and my goodness, devastating. Devastating. But the only thing is, at least they knew that it was coming. I don't know if it ended up being worse in some parts than they thought, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised at where it is because, of course, it came ashore in the Florida Panhandle, and then it carries on north into the states above Florida. there's far more damage in North Carolina than there is in Florida. Some people are saying Florida is just used to it. Florida's prepared for it. Florida has the infrastructure. I don't know if that's true or not. This was a Category 4 hurricane. That's going to do damage no matter how prepared you are. But this thing, once it got past Florida, just sort of stalled and dropped an epic amount of rain with hurricane force winds right on certain areas of North Carolina. Friend of my son's, I used to coach him. He's a great kid. He lives in North Carolina now, and I phoned him yesterday to see how he was doing. He was in the process of packing up and heading to his in-laws in South Carolina because North Carolina is a disaster.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So much damage. They're going to try and get the president out there tomorrow, but they can't let his motorcade and such get in the way. So they're trying to wait until some of the cleanup is done before Biden goes. Trump was there yesterday, and that leads into tonight, which is the vice presidential debate. And you can bet your butt the hurricane is going to come up in tonight's debate. I don't really care about VP picks. I don't really care about this debate tonight.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm
going
to watch it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. They both, I don't know. I'm just
Neither
going
of them
off
is
what
very
I've seen,
charismatic.
but yeah, that's a really nice way to put it because I was not going to be that nice.
They're
But that's
both
a good
kinda
way to put it.
stiffs.
You're right. Yeah.
And both kind of crazy in their own right. So good luck if you're watching it. Have yourself a good time.
We're not going to promise to watch it so you don't have to, clearly.
No, I might not. and I'm not even promising you highlights tomorrow because we'll see where it goes. Jeep is recalling more than 194,000 plug-in hybrid SUVs worldwide because they can catch fire with the ignition turned off. Jeep also urges owners, do not charge your SUV and park them outdoors away from structures until a repair is done. The recall covers the Wrangler 4xE from 2020 through 2024 model years, as well as the Grand Cherokee 4xE 2022 to 2024 model years. Stellantis says customers will be notified when they can service their vehicle. Well, what the hell are you supposed to do until then? They're saying park your car because there's a serious risk that it could just burst into flames.
I mean, and this is just one issue of many when it comes to batteries. I mean, we hear about it way too much. And I kind of anecdotally mentioned that on our show today. And then we had somebody who works in insurance message and say, it's not so random. Like, they've been getting way more claims for things exploding in their homes, too. I mean, yes, cars, we know that this is a thing. And now we know of the new Jeep hybrid or one of the new Jeep hybrids. I'm not sure how many there are. But there's also the amount of just devices that are exploding in people's homes and causing fires. It kind of does it scare you? Because it scares me. Like, I think, okay, what about all this stuff? Like, do I have, if it's not phones, what about other things too? Like other electronics? Are those going to just blow up?
Yeah. I've got that scooter, for example, out in the garage.
That's a great example.
Crosses my mind because it's an electric scooter.
Yeah.
It uses a battery, and I don't spend a whole ton of time in the garage.
Yeah.
So that could be a major fire hazard.
This person said e-bikes. A lot of reports of garage fires because of e-bikes too.
E-bikes and the cell phone one you mentioned. Just last week, there was another warning. Don't sleep with your cell phone on the night table beside your bed because it could explode and kill you.
Like,
what is going on?
happening?
I thought we had this figured out.
My Razor never tried to kill me. My Motorola.
What was your first cell phone?
I think that was it. Motorola. No, I had okay, what was the crappy? It was a Nokia. It just looked like a brick. It was just a brick with a little antenna thingy. I think it was a Nokia something. I couldn't tell you what it was called other than Nokia. But I did not have that for long because I needed to have something where I felt like I could text easier. So for me, that was the Motorola Razor. So I think that was my second one.
I had the brick phone, the one where you had to pull up the antenna. And it never really did any difference pulling up the antenna. You just felt like you were making a mobile call at the time.
Right. It
wasn't a good phone. Wasn't great at all. The call quality sucked. I've probably
Yeah.
got some low level of cancer in my head or something from talking into this thing. It wasn't good. We've made progress, but the batteries are still an issue. Today's a big day, Kat. It is National Taco Day, and it falls on a Tuesday, which is magic.
That's perfect. Dinner plans made. I think a lot of people can agree on tacos because it doesn't matter. They can be vegan for that matter. I was going to say vegetarian. They could be vegan. You could do them on whole wheat. You could do a taco salad even if you had to today. Whatever. But I feel like everyone can agree on tacos because you can have some ingredients in there if you don't want every single one possible, right?
Taco salad is great, but there's a lot of ways that you can screw this up. Some people will make the taco salad where they'll take like Doritos, for example, and crumple them up into the salad.
Oh, yes.
You have 6 minutes to eat that before you're eating soggy Doritos, and nobody wants that either. So you got to be careful with that.
It's a game of math also, right?
They asked thousands of people this year for National Taco Day. Number 1, do you eat tacos? 90% of people in North America eat tacos. 9 out of 10. I don't think there's any other food that we all agree on that much. 9 out of 10. 83% say they eat Mexican food at least once a month. You're wondering what we put on these little, I can't think of a good word to describe it.
Yes, I am wondering. Hard shells or soft shells, whatever it is for you.
Well, first off, meat. What goes on your taco?
I like chicken over beef personally.
Really?
Yes, and I like fish. I like the fresh fish tacos too.
Interesting. Okay, I hate all of that. Beef tacos are number 1, followed by chicken, followed by steak, shrimp, fish, pork, and bean tacos. By the way, a bean taco, if you mix up brown and black beans, outstanding.
There's nothing wrong with that.
6% said none of those, which makes me wonder, did you really eat a taco if it didn't have beef, chicken, steak, shrimp, fish, pork, or beans?
What was your protein?
Weird. Toppings. The number 1 topping for tacos is, no surprise, it's cheese. Of course.
Who doesn't love cheese? Do the vegans put the fake cheese on that?
They might actually. You know what? It's funny you should mention fake cheese because my girlfriend eats this. I don't think it's cheese. I think you need dairy to make cheese. I don't know what the
Right.
Daiya stuff is, but it's actually not bad.
It's okay?
The shredded mozzarella one is not bad at all.
Have they made it far enough to make it look like it melts at least a little bit now? Because I know back in the day it never used to melt, so that was always weird for me.
I experimented with this a lot. I would make like a regular grilled cheese and then a non-dairy cheese grilled cheese. And it took you needed to get it up to 500 for that stuff to
Really?
melt. It was crazy. But they've done something new
Oh,
recently
okay.
where it seems to be melting faster. So cheese is the number 1 topping for a taco. Lettuce is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It beat out sour cream, salsa, tomatoes, guac, vegetables, and beans. Do people really care about lettuce on a taco, or is it just one of those things that you say, yeah, put it in?
I loved lettuce in a taco. I like it. It's all a part of the fun. It is a little bit messy sometimes, but it's good. It's the crunch. You need a little veggie crunch.
And the taco didn't give you the crunch? I'd be good with just that
No,
crunch.
but I'm thinking about no. I'm thinking about the soft because if you're doing soft, because I'd probably pick soft over hard shell, to be honest with you, or a taco salad. So for me, I need the lettuce is a must. It's almost like the base.
Kat, Dr. Phil says there are 10 things that we should know about our spouse or partner.
Okay.
10 things that you should just know if you're ever asked. And I wouldn't say that these are relationship changing things, but they're just general niceties that you should know.
They're not even necessarily that deep. Some of them could be, I guess, in a way, but they're not that hardcore deep of things that you should know.
So listening to After 9, and thank you very much to everybody who is. We appreciate you for downloading today. We do these every day, by the way. Let's go through the list of 10 things you should know about your partner. And here's the deal. Try and keep track of these things. You should have the conversation with your partner if you don't know the answer to these things. What is your spouse's shoe size? Why is that relevant? In case I ever see shoes and I think, she'd love those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know what the necessity is to know about it. Like maybe you don't buy shoes for that person, so you wouldn't know. But I mean, if you're with the person long enough, you just kind of know.
Would that be a weird thing if
you?
I bought her shoes? That's such a personal thing. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could pick shoes for her.
Maybe slippers. That's more of an intimate thing. I know some people maybe get slippers or something. A nice pair of Crocs. No, I'm just kidding.
Crocs.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it is something just over time or maybe earlier. I don't know. For me, I don't think I knew or cared until I don't know, my husband and I were married. So at least 9 years in, I don't think I knew what his shoe size was, nor did I care.
Did you ask him or did you have to go looking for him to get that information?
I think I asked.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the answer?
No.
No.
Because I don't know a difference. What do I fucking know?
I don't understand women's shoe sizes. They're very different from
I
men.
know,
and I
they
don't know
are
why.
different.
Why is that?
They are different. Yeah. I don't know why a women's 7 is not a men's 7, for example. I'm not sure where that, because your feet are bigger. Dudes' feet are bigger for the most part, right?
And gross.
Okay.
Get a pedicure, guys. You should also know how many children did your spouse want when you got together. Maybe they wanted no kids. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Maybe they wanted a whole litter, just like a cat. You should know how many kids they wanted. In what city was your spouse born? I actually don't know the answer to that question.
That'll be on the passport, right? That's on the
Yes.
passport. See, I think like there's certain things you'll just come across no matter what. I don't know. I book everything for him, so I know what's on his passport, so I know what city he was born in.
Oh, you're doing that? You're booking all this stuff
I
for
book
him?
it. Yes, I am the personal booker.
Let me tell you, okay, good for you. My girlfriend does the same thing. Men, find yourself a girl who is willing to book your doctor's appointments, willing to book your appointment at the bank, book all your stuff. It just makes life so much easier. And is it harder on them? Yes, it's terrible for them. They've got way more to keep track of on top of their own stuff, but it will make your life easier. Good for you, Kat. I'm glad to hear that. If your spouse had his or her dream job, what would it be? We've talked about this before. How many people are not doing their dream job?
Now, and that one is a little bit on the deeper side, but I think that one has like a highlight. That's a very important one that I think that if you don't know that about your partner, why wouldn't you have asked up to this point? Why wouldn't you have had those discussions up to this point, right? It's kind of like one of those deep convo. Maybe you're a bottle of wine in, or maybe you're not. But you know what I mean? One of those things you just discuss with your life partner.
And while you're talking employment, you should also find out, what was your spouse's first job?
Yeah.
I think I know that one. Spouse's mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
Why would you need to know that?
It's not, none of this stuff is necessarily on a need to know. It's just, these are things that you should know, which means that you've asked enough questions and you retain enough information about that person.
Got it. Okay, retention. That's where I went wrong. Okay.
Retention is key.
Does your spouse have a nickname, or did they have a nickname? And if so, what was it? I don't know the answer to that one either. That's crazy. I thought I knew my girlfriend so well, and then Dr. Phil comes in here and blows our whole relationship to smithereens.
Does she have a nickname now? I don't think so, right?
I don't
really?
think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure at work she has one. I'm sure the kids call her a number of different things, but this is what happens with principals. So I don't know if any of those would stick. I'm guessing no nickname.
Okay.
What single word would your spouse use to describe you?
Yeah.
Almost a personality quiz.
It is kind of a personality quiz. I'm not sure. And that was one of the ones that I was unsure of. That and the other one that you're going to mention. I was like, I think I know, but it could be one of a few things.
That is also a loaded question that can lead to a fight.
Maybe that's Dr. Phil's point.
Yeah. What's one single word that you would use to describe me? Bossy. Oh, shit.
shit.
Oh, no.
You did
I
not.
said it out loud.
Fuck. Bad idea.
This is a very practical one, and I don't know how many people actually know the answer to this. What is your spouse's blood type? This is important if there's, God forbid, an accident or a surgery coming up or whatever. I have no idea.
Can I add to that, though? How many people know their own?
I have no idea.
Like,
I don't even know.
I'm not even 100% certain of my own.
You get asked this question very, very seldom. As a guy, anyway, I don't know if I've ever had to tell someone my blood type, except maybe when I take on a new family doctor. And I always have to phone my mom to find out. It's amazing. She knows it off the top of her head after all these years.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
I know. Should we have that more prominently listed in some form of documentation that we carry around with us all the time?
Well, I mean, we carry a birth certificate and a driver's license and all these things.
Yeah, health card even. Like, it's not even on our own health card.
Have you, by the way, taken the time to fill out your emergency contact on your phone in case the paramedics ever find you in the middle of the road and have to track you down?
Yeah, that has a little red asterisk on it when you pick the person, right?
That's
yeah,
right.
I do.
Am I one of your emergency contacts?
You can make more than one?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So I only thought you picked one.
I put my...
I should redo that. I should probably add more people.
Just for fun, add people that are completely random, and they'll wonder if they ever get a call. Why are they calling me? Put down like your cleaning lady or your gardener or something like that. What? Who's in the hospital?
Am I being
What?
implemented in this? Why are you calling me?
Last question that you should be able to know the answer to. What is your spouse's favorite way to wind down after a stressful day?
Which hopefully you know that answer.
You should be exercising that every time your spouse has a bad day and try as much as possible to do whatever it is they like after a
Yes.
stressful day.
Join them in that. And vice versa. If you have a different way of doing it, they'll join you in that. That's an important one.
Totally agree. How's our time here?
Oh, we have like 5 minutes or so. You got something else?
Aliens.
I love alien talk. What are we saying now? What's happening?
I really wasn't sure how much time we would have, so I didn't know if we would get to this, but it's now a full 1 in 4 have seen a UFO. 1 in 4 people now believes they have seen a UFO.
Okay.
29% think UFOs really are alien spacecraft. 35%, though, still think there's another explanation for that thing that was whipping around at thousands of miles an hour and going down into the ocean and back up. You've probably seen these videos online. They used to tell us there was another explanation for it. Frankly, now, I don't know any other way to explain it. Stuff on Earth can't do what these videos are showing things doing.
I wish I saw it in person because I can't say that I'm on that list of people who have for certain. Sure, there's times where I look and I'm like, what is that in the sky? But I don't know, man, between that Starlink and between shooting stars and all kinds of other weird things in the sky, I just usually go, Kat, you're being silly. It's probably just this. But maybe I have. So I can't be certain. What about you? Do you feel like you maybe have, but you kind of dismissed it?
I've definitely seen anomalies, but
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who tries to exhaust all other possibilities. You know, you see some weird stuff, and in the past, I've probably mistaken Starlink satellites for aliens, you know? Like, things evolve and things change, and NASA doesn't always tell us what's going to be moving across the sky. Hell, right now, we've got 2 moons. What's going on with that, and why isn't people not freaking out?
Is that permanent, by the way? Like, I'm
No.
still confused on the moon's thing. It's just a temporary second moon.
So there's this big asteroid that was circling the Earth, or circling our solar system, and just the trajectory that it's on, right now it happens to be in our orbit. So we have 2 moons on Earth right now.
Okay.
It's only going to be that way until November 25th when this thing pisses off and probably crashes into Saturn or something like that.
Okay. It's just like, fling, bye-bye.
Let's go a little further on aliens. A third think they're already here.
Okay. Yep.
A
We've
lot of
discussed
people,
this.
I
Yeah,
hear
we've
that a
discussed this.
lot. There's people who think, you remember that girl on the plane? I am telling you
And
right
I'm telling
now.
you.
She's convinced she saw an alien. I mean, she backtracks on it now because she doesn't want the shaming in public, but she thought she saw an alien, and a lot of people agree. 1 in 3 think aliens are here on Earth now. Another 1 in 3 think UFOs are alien spacecraft. No, I already read that one. There we go. It's 1 in 3 think aliens are already here. 36% don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit in the don't know
Yeah.
category as long as you want, but eventually you're going to have to acknowledge there's some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, and it starts to add up after a while. You know what? There's cameras everywhere now. There's the difference between way back in the day when it was like, I spotted a UFO. Like, okay. Now they're like, check this video out. And there's a million people with the same video. Like the weird shit that happens in California, that happened more recently in California, the ring in the sky. I mean, all these things, when you add all that together, there's just more footage of all these things now. So now we can look at it and go, that's not normal. What is that? And nobody really can give us an answer, which makes me believe it's aliens.
But why the gaslighting? For years, if you said you saw a UFO, they were going to call you crazy and stick you in an asylum. No wonder people are afraid to say whether or not they think aliens are real.
Yeah.
It was only just recently that we even stopped trying to disprove some of these theories. One more on this. If and when we do make contact with the aliens, will they come in peace?
I'm under the category of I hope so. And I'll be the naive person that thinks, yes? With a question mark? I don't know.
You don't sound confident.
I'm not confident.
50-50 split.
Yeah.
Half of people who answered said yes. The other half think we are in big trouble. What are we going to do? These things can fly through mountains
They're
at
better than
thousands of
us.
miles an hour.
They seem faster than us. They seem more agile, probably smarter because they've created whatever machinery this is that they're using that we haven't even figured out. They could have different supplies, though, on their planets than we do. We don't have some of the supplies that they're able to use. But that said, yeah, we're definitely dumber than them. Like, there's no way.
What are we going to do? Wow them with the snowbirds?
No.
Like, come on. It's not the same thing.
It's not. Like, hey, come watch Top Gun, though. Like, they don't care.
In case you're wondering, the top cities for UFO sightings, number 1 is Phoenix, Arizona, followed by New York, Las Vegas, I feel like a lot of people didn't see an alien in Vegas. They just thought they saw an alien in Vegas.
Oh, there is some on the corner. They're just asking for money if you take a picture with them.
Portland, Oregon, Tucson, Boise, Los Angeles, San Diego, Albuquerque, and Seattle. One more note on these aliens, since they were asking people about things that I think we know they're real, but we have to pretend they're not real right now. Same people that took this survey, they asked them, do you think Bigfoot is real? What do you think they said?
No. Tell me majority said no. I don't buy the Bigfoot thing.
Majority of people said no, but 28% think Bigfoot is real. What about the Loch Ness Monster?
No.
Almost 1 in 4 believe Nessie is just swimming around Loch Ness over in the Scottish Highlands.
We would have seen Loch Ness Monster again, though.
Would we?
Yeah. I think so.
There could be a Loch Ness Monster swimming around Lake Ontario. We only really see a small part of it, and you really don't even pay attention to it when you're driving by. There could be like a whole family of Loch Ness Monsters.
No. What are they eating? What are they eating over there?
Mercury.
All of our fish?
Mercury. Just like everybody else that eats something out of Lake Ontario. And on that, we will say, have yourselves a great day, everybody. The sun sets tonight at 6:59 p.m.
Listen to this depressing fact he's about to tell you. Go ahead, Scott.
Sun sets at 6:59 p.m. tonight. It will not set again after 7 p.m. until March the 10th, 2025.
March! Did you hear that?
Hello, darkness, our old friend.
Welcome to hell.
Feels like it. Well, it's the hell stage of Ontario again. We'll see all you active and healthy folks again in March. We'll have a brand new episode of After 9 coming your way tomorrow. In the meantime, feel free to download the archives and shoot us a text if you want. 1-833-915-SHOW.
Bye, friends.
Hey, I heard that Verizon got hit with a nationwide outage that caused thousands of phones to get stuck in SOS mode. And Sprint was like, if it makes you feel any better, our entire company is in SOS mode.
Man in Pennsylvania recently set a Guinness World Record for tallest hat. You gotta be kidding me, said the guy behind him at the movies.
Uber Eats just announced that they are now delivering costumes, makeup, and decorations from Spirit Halloween. Sounds like for this Halloween, Uber Eats is dressing up as Amazon.